Hello, my beautiful girls, and welcome to today's video. We are talking about how to have a glow up from any negative situation, especially dealing with toxic family, toxic relationships. You are going to come out on the other side so much better and stronger, more beautiful, more in your feminine energy. But how do you actually do that? Let's go ahead and talk about it. So the last video that I had made, I'm trying to remember the name. It was talking about how to navigate feminine energy when you're in a toxic household, when you're in a toxic relationship, and we really dug in deep there. But there was a question that I saw that actually inspired this video. And the question was, how do you make up for a loss of time from having a toxic household? That question really stood out to me. And the reason is because I actually don't believe that having a toxic household makes you lose time. I think it in fact does the opposite. It's actually so much more of a benefit for you. So we will explain why. When you go through something that's super challenging, especially being raised in a toxic environment, it is the biggest blessing that you can ever have in your life. The biggest one. And the reason is when you hit rock bottom, when you get broken at such a deep level, you have no choice but to grow and to level up the opposite level. So you actually have an opportunity from that brokenness that most people will never have. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to take advantage of the opportunity, how to actually use that brokenness, turn it into a blessing. Let's get started with point number one. So a personal example in my own life is the toxic household that I grew up with. So my girls that have been with me for a while, you know that I grew up with a lot of narcissistic abuse. And for the longest time, I really resented that. I never got to be a kid, missed out on so many opportunities, lost a lot of time. But the way that I see it now, I am so grateful that that happened. I am so grateful for it because I would never be here right now. I would never be here even speaking on YouTube with you right now. So that toxic household, it broke me. And because of that, I became broken at such a deep level that when I did the inner work, which we'll talk about today, the level that I was now able to reach was so high. I would have never gotten here without this. And I like to think of it as a bed of soil that flowers bloom from. So you cannot bloom, you cannot become that beautiful bouquet of flowers until you reach the bottom of the soil. You have to reach the bottom. It's such a blessing, even if it feels like pain right now. And what will happen when you reach the bottom is you fill that bed of soil with nutrients. The nutrients is your inner work. And I'll give you the 4-step formula on how to actually water yourself with that inner work. So number one, become aware of what you are attracting. So if you have gone through any negative situation in your life, which if you're human, you probably have, number one is to become aware of what you are attracting. So in my personal life, something that I noticed that I was attracting was wounded masculine energy. And that showed up in the form of emotionally unavailable men. It showed up in having very weak boundaries for me, attracting the worst guys, especially in college. And what I had to do was become aware of that. That is how you change it, and that is how you level up that area of your life. So I noticed a pattern in my life. Okay, Alexis, you are attracting wounded masculine energy. Now, step two is, where did that come from? You have to know where it came from. This is what inner work is. It's going within and understanding why you are the way that you are. So I knew that I grew up with a very heavily wounded masculine energy presence. So that was causing me to attract that as a result. So number one is to become aware of what it is that you are attracting. Another example that I have to share with you, I learned the best through examples, so that's why I have so many to share with you. I realized that I was struggling with my health. I had a lot of bad skin issues. My skin was breaking out constantly. My body was never digesting food properly. I had a lot of stomach, gut health issues. So number one, it was recognizing, okay, Alexis, you have gut health issues and you are attracting poor skin, you are attracting unhealthy cravings, you are attracting a body that doesn't feel good as a result. So that is step one. become aware of what you are attracting. This will reveal the core wound for you. Number 2, this is my favorite. Decide that you're no longer available for that experience. So there was a point in my life when I got so tired of the type of men that I was attracting that I said to myself, I'm no longer available for this. And there's so much power in you saying that. The reason is, whatever we say, our brain has to confirm. We have to confirm all of our beliefs. It's how we are wired as humans. So if you are telling yourself, I'm no longer available for this, what your brain does is it blocks out anything that doesn't align with that belief. So my brain started only scanning to confirm my new belief, that I am only available for healthy masculine energy. That is what started happening. And it's so amazing. I like to phrase this as you are giving your body and your brain an ick. You are giving it to yourself unconsciously when you say, I decide I'm no longer available to accept this, whatever it is. Even if it's poor treatment from family, from friends, that decision that you make is going to change your life. It is so powerful. And the other example too, so as I told you girls, I'd struggled with digestive issues and skin issues. There was something internally wrong with my body. There was a point that I reached where I was so tired of my skin breaking out. I was so tired of not being able to use the bathroom with my digestive issues that I said, I'm not available for this. I'm so tired of this. This is not how I want my life to look anymore. When you reach that point, that is where the real healing begins. And like I said earlier, you have to almost become broken to even reach that point. You have to get that internal ick. And what I teach in my programs too is we do inner work backwards from how we think it's supposed to be done. So it's not you do all the steps and then you get the result. You actually start with the result. You start with focusing on aligning to that desire. I desire to feel this way. I desire to live this way. I desire to attract this certain situation or experience into my life. And then the steps are done for you. It starts with your brain. Your brain has to know what its new core belief is. That's how you start to heal that wound. So step number 3, gather knowledge on why this experience is happening for you or the effect that it's now having on you. So the example that I gave around growing up with narcissistic abuse. So I went into this deep dive on how that narcissistic abuse affected me. And I followed the previous 2 steps. Number 1, I realized, okay, I have a very anxious attachment style in relationships. I have a struggle with my feminine energy. I noticed I was afraid to embrace being a woman. I was afraid to be powerful and feel beautiful and feel connected to my body. I noticed that in myself. And I started studying everything that had an effect on my body. And by studying, I mean just reading books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, educating myself on everything that I experienced. I researched so much about the anxious attachment style and masculine and feminine energies. I was sitting in my dorm room in college at 18 years old looking into masculine and feminine energy, and it changed my life. Everything that you are going through, start to study on why it is happening to you and how it is affecting you. Something else that I really studied was human behavior and psychology. And that is the key to so much in business and in relationships. That information, I'm so glad that I had it. And something else too is neuroscience. I started realizing that you get to choose how your brain is wired and programmed. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a very brilliant man on this subject. He talks all about neuroscience. So I realized that my body and my brain had been programmed to live in fear and to live in anxiety. And so if I could realize that and know that my body was just programmed that way, it meant that I could undo it. And it meant that I could decide to wire it however I wanted. Just that realization opened up the doors for relationships, for income, for business idea. You having all of this knowledge at your fingertips is going to come from the brokenness and the negative situations that you're in. So it's not anything that is super negative. In fact, it's going to be the biggest blessing that you ever have. Another example too, so when I realized, okay, my skin is breaking out, which means that my body is trying to tell me something. My body is trying to signal that there's something going on internally. I started looking more into gut health. And something that I learned out of that was that if you are experiencing digestive issues, constipation issues, it's probably because your body is in a state of fight or flight. We talk about this so much here on this channel, that survival mode. So when I started realizing, oh my gosh, I cannot use the bathroom because my body is tight, my digestive system has been shut off because I'm only in that survival mode from the abuse that I experienced. That opened up so many doors for me. And it began my love and my passion for holistic health and wellness. So all of these things that you are going through, start to look into why it's happening to you, what are the effects that is now placed on you, and new doors will open for you. I promise. And that's gonna go into step number 4 here. You start applying all of this knowledge to your life. And what happens is amazing. So let me give you an example. So healing my relationship to masculine energy. When I started doing this, it changed not only the men that I was attracting, but my finances. And I'm going to teach you this more in Divine and Aligned. All my girls who are a part of this, I cannot wait for this lesson coming up. Masculine energy. If you are having issues with men, you're most likely having issues with money. And it's because the core of that is masculine energy. So when you heal that masculine energy, it heals so many parts of your life that you're not even trying to heal. That's why when I say it's such an advantage that you become broken, it's such an advantage that you go through a challenge, new doors open for you that the average person doesn't get to experience. So it's going to launch you so far ahead in life just because you are doing your inner work, just because you are becoming aware of a wound and healing it. There's so much power in it. Another example too, so I share this a lot when I'm doing my one-on-one coaching. So there was a time in my life when I had made that decision. I was about 20 years old and I said, I am no longer available for low value behavior from men. I'm so tired of it. The men that I was, not even men, the boys that I was attracting in college were just so different than now. And it's someone that I would never, ever, ever want to go back to, is that version. There was a point when there was a guy that I had met when I was 20 years old. And we were texting a little bit. We never went out on a date. And there was one day that I remember he left my message on read for 24 hours, didn't respond. And I had asked him a question. And I had to make a choice in that moment. Stay the old version of me, continue to be the old identity, which was wounded. Or I could say, nope, this is when I take everything that I've learned and actually apply it. This is how your life is going to change. So I knew he would text back eventually. He did a couple days later. And rather than texting back as if nothing happened and acting from my wounded feminine energy, I made the choice to say, nope, I'm not going to accept this behavior anymore. And I never messaged him again. From that moment, my standards in relationships raised. And it might seem small, but it's actually so huge because when you do this over and over and over again, what is going to happen is you are going to become your dream woman. You are going to become that woman who has strong boundaries, who is attracting the best partners, the best friends, is building her dream life. And it's these little actions of you choosing to align with that version, take the inner work from the wounds that you healed, and apply it to your life. It is so, so powerful. So, another example. When I learned, oh my gosh, my body is in this survival mode and that's why I can't digest food and that's why my skin is breaking out. That's why my mood and my energy is off. That's why I don't have my dream body yet. I was able to sit and release the anxiety in my body that I was holding on to. My body was still feeling that I was in that abusive household, even though I wasn't. And we talk about this all the time here. If you don't heal that wound, if you don't release that blocked emotion from whatever it is you went through, it's still in your body. So that bundle of anxiety was still in me, even when I was out of a situation. You have to release to heal. You have to take that wound and say, I'm not available for it anymore. I understand it happened and I release it. When I release that anxiety, And let me actually describe how I released it. Things that I did was journaling and just crying and pouring out my heart, pouring out my emotions. It was doing therapy. It was doing hypnotherapy, laying, getting into a meditative state and just crying, releasing what my body was holding on to. When I did that, maybe this is TMI, but I started being able to use the bathroom easier. I used to only be able to go to the bathroom like once a week because my digestive system was just so blocked and shut off, and I started being able to go every day. So we try to put all of these band-aids like laxatives and medicine and all this stuff into our body when really it's just a wound that needs to be healed. When you do the inner work that we just talked about, your life is going to leap so far because of it. And there's going to be levels that you reach that you never even realized you would. So, for example, when I started studying masculine and feminine energy at 18 years old, sitting in my dorm room, I had no idea that it was going to take me here to creating a YouTube channel just based on feminine energy, just based on inner work. I had no idea that healing and learning how to set boundaries, to stop being someone who is anxious and had people-pleasing tendencies. I had no idea that that would help me become a powerful woman who's now a coach and a teacher and has built a whole program to help women become their dream self. So all of the wounding and the brokenness from that narcissistic abuse has built me a multiple six-figure business, allowed me to live my dream life, and allowed me to become someone who attracts her desires, whose life is filled with love and abundance and happiness. I promise whatever it is that you are going through, there is a purpose in it. And you have to get to the bottom of the soil. You have to hit the bottom to be able to nourish the soil with inner work and grow into that beautiful flower. I know that that can be cheesy, but that's truly how it is. There was something else that I wanted to tell you on this too. Yes, so even though it might feel like, oh, I missed out on my childhood, or what do I do to make up for that time of being in that toxic situation? You don't need to make up for the time because you didn't lose it. You are speeding up time. You are saving time because the levels that you can reach now because of it are so much more powerful than if you never went through that situation. And there's this quote that I really love. This woman that she's a beautiful content creator, very, very brilliant. Her name is Anna Akana. She says, when you are too invested in being damaged, you block your own healing. And that's the biggest block that most people have, is we want to stay in that victim mentality. We want to continue being damaged. If you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at will change. You are not damaged. You are a normal human who went through a challenging experience that is going to leap you levels ahead when you pair it with inner work. I know that that was a lot, so let's go ahead and recap those 4 steps, and then I will take some questions and chat with you girls for a bit. So step 1, actually before even step 1, is you didn't lose time from going through something challenging. You in fact gained time. It is your biggest blessing to go through something that is painful. Biggest blessing. Number 1 is to become aware of what you are attracting, because that is how you identify the core wound that needs to be healed. Number 2 is gather knowledge on why this is happening and the effect that it is having on you. Number 3 was, number 3 was to, you know what, let me look at my notes. Number 2 was decide that you're no longer available for that experience. I cannot believe I almost missed the most important one. Decide, and it is now an ick that your brain creates. Number 3 was to gather knowledge on why this has happened and start to look at the effects that it's having on your life. That's how you know how to actually heal. And number 4 is start applying what you learn into your actual life. It can be so scary to do that. I was someone who had such a hard time setting boundaries. The very first time I did, of course it was scary. The very first time that I wanted to text that guy back who had left me hanging, but I decided not to, yes, my body was fighting itself. But you have to decide that it's so worth it long term to be able to make the hard decision now. That quote that I always say is, hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Make the hard choice now so that your life gets to be easy later. It is your biggest blessing to go through something painful. Let me take some of your girls' questions and chat with you for a bit. OMG, when you didn't message him again, that just gave me goosebumps. Yeah, Ellen, girl, it was so hard for me. He was so cute and I was so attracted to him, but I had to make that decision because if I didn't in that moment, I never would have. And then something else would have come to try to teach me that same lesson. That's something else that really helped my inner work journey is I stopped looking at all the experiences and people as actual experiences and people. I looked at it as a lesson from God that was disguised as a possible relationship or a possible opportunity. And I realized if I didn't learn that lesson, if I didn't apply the inner work, it would have just come in a different form later on. So yeah, girl, I feel that. I love your hair. Thank you, girl. It's so different to have straight hair. I'm so used to the curls. I honestly really miss the curls. I wanted to wash it today, but I won't have time, so I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow. Yeah. Ooh, could we have words of encouragement for those of us in a transition between our old life and our ideal life? I'm going through that at the moment. Yes, my girl. What I want to tell you is pain is temporary. The old identity is temporary. If you look at your dream life, so I have my vision board right here. If you look at your dream life, if you look and connect to your vision, think about how amazing that feels. Think about how good your body just lights up when you see that excitement of what you know your life gets to be like. Every time you pick to align with that new identity rather than the old identity, you are getting closer to everything on here. It is such a beautiful gift that you get to do that. And I want you to know too, you're not alone. That is why this whole community of women is here. We are all with you in spirit going through the same things. I love your outfit. Thank you, girl. I love this top. This is like the comfiest top that I own. I just got it from Free People. Oh, also my girls, I always forget to mention this, but if you are not already a part of this, we have an app, the Feminine Glow app. It's going to be in the description of this YouTube video. But that app, I made it as a community where all of us women can talk, can share, can ask questions. There are over 1,000 girls that are in this community page. It's almost like a Facebook group page. So if you need support, that is always available for you. Oh, Sandra, I love your jewelry. I can't wait to send you some. Sandra, I cannot wait. Sandra is one of my fabulous students in my courses, and she's also in Divine and Aligned, my newest program, where I'm helping you activate and launch your dream business. So I cannot wait to see your jewelry business, Sandra. Ooh, Kimberly, this is a good question. How can I help someone who is hurting and not doing inner work? That's a tricky thing with inner work is we can never force someone to do it. There's that quote that I love that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You cannot just appear when the student is not ready. How you can positively affect someone else is you doing your inner work. You showing up as the most vibrant, the most healed, the most whole and complete version of you, that is going to start to impact them way more than you know. So don't even worry about trying to get the inner work in front of them. Put yourself in front of them and just be there for them to heal. Oh, God really blessed me with your channel. Absolutely love and appreciate you, girly. Thank you, girl. I love you, girls. Ooh, Andy, this is a good question. Would you talk more about the ways that money, energy, and masculine energy align? Andy, girl, yes. This is gonna have to be a whole video because it's so powerful. We are going into this deeply inside of my Divine and Aligned program. I'm very careful about putting the deeper side of inner work on YouTube because it can be very triggering and very hard to process until there's a certain level of inner work that's done. So I want to provide that knowledge inside of the course specifically. Can you teach us how to make a vision board? Yeah, I teach you this in the Master Your Feminine Energy course, but let me give you a small breakdown here. So when I made my vision board, this was so easy to make. And what I did is I went to canva.com. Canva is the best place if you want to make graphics and you're not a graphic designer. So I went to Canva and I created a blank page for my vision board. Then what I did is I went to Pinterest and I just became open for any pictures that showed up on my feed that really connected to my heart. So for example, I saw pictures of different couples that were in love. I saw different pictures of healthy, beautiful, vibrant food. I saw different pictures of girlfriends hanging out, and I knew, okay, this is the stuff that aligns for me. And then I thought about my deep desires. So a few of my deep desires: a healthy, loving, conscious relationship in marriage. That is on my vision board. It's pictures of that relationship, the love, the intimacy, the playful side. I also really value security and abundance and freedom. So I have pictures of a woman making passive income. I have pictures of a woman with all of the products of her brand. I have pictures of one of my favorites. It's this basket with a golden egg in it, and it says retirement. To me, it's always been so important to have financial freedom and security because that's one of the keys to abundance in life. Another value that's really big for me is my faith with God in the Lord. So I have a picture of a church home, and that represents my strong foundation with church and with God. Something else too is I have a few things like quotes. So one says, I am healthy, wealthy, and happy. One says, God is so delighted you are his girl. One says, I'm building a brand, I'm always busy. And then one says, money loves me. So it's affirmations like this. Whatever it is that aligns with your values or your deep desires, that is what you want to put on a vision board. I haven't made a video too specific about this yet because I don't believe in having a lot of structure for a vision board. To me, when I think of structure, it almost starts to feel not as fun. And the best way that you can create a very beautiful vision board is when it comes straight from your desires. How you connect to your desires is to be in your feminine energy, and that doesn't usually require structure. So when you're making your vision board, remove the rules, remove the structures, just show up, connect it to your heart, play around, have fun with it. That is how you make it. And then just put the pictures on the board however it feels best for you. I've known for some time what my dream life looks like, but recently found out trauma has been blocking me from attracting it, and now I feel that I'm behind. So my girl, everything that we just talked about in the video, maybe it's best if you go back and rewatch that. Because remember how I said you might feel like you're being slowed down in the beginning, but you're going to be able to leap levels and levels ahead. So for example, I thought that I was so far behind because I grew up with that narcissistic abuse. But now I am able to run a multiple six-figure business and live my dream life because of it. All of that inner work allowed me to open up my creativity, energy, and confidence to open up a business that provided that opportunity. So I can retire in my mid-20s now because of that. So it's not that you're being slowed down, you get to speed up time. You're not behind, you are so far ahead, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. So never compare your life to other people because that will make you feel like you're behind. I got my bachelor's degree in marketing and I didn't use it much, and I always looked at my friends who had all these jobs in marketing. Felt like I was behind. But the truth is, if I would have followed that path and if I would have gotten stuck in, oh, I'm so behind in my career, I would have never built this career. So you are not behind, my girl. You are perfectly on track. Aw, Kimberly, I cannot wait to have you in the course, girl. When should you let things slide versus leave? I cut a friend off because she hurt me deeply. We were no longer an energetic match. She said she's human and makes mistakes, which made my choice seem dramatic. Lena, I kind of feel that there's a red flag right there just with you feeling that you're dramatic, because a healthy, conscious friend will never make you feel like you're over the top. They should have a level of empathy where you feel understood and you feel seen. So that to me almost says there's a bit of a red flag with that friend. How you know if you should cut them off is if you set a boundary and that boundary is broken again and again and again. This actually happened to me, and I talk about it more in the previous video. Toxic households and toxic friendships, how to navigate your feminine energy in those. So I would recommend watching that video because I tell you when you know in your intuition it is right to end a friendship. Oh no, did I get cut out? Oh, you couldn't hear me for 20 seconds. My girls, I'm so sorry. I will be re-uploading this on YouTube from my actual camera, so don't worry, you'll be able to hear it later. I'm so sorry about that. What do you do if you have a friend where you feel that you can't be yourself? So I would also, again, watch that previous video because I talk about two different paths you can take. One is deciding to just end the relationship and understanding people aren't meant to be a whole book in your life, they're meant to be chapters. So maybe that chapter has ended. Or what you could do is move that friend to an outer layer of your life and just simply give them less time and energy for now. You should be able to feel like yourself, and if you cannot feel like yourself, it's going to hold you back in life. Oh, so many new people just came on. Hello, everybody. Nestle, how to really stop limiting beliefs around your dream life and making money. So Nestle, here's something that I had taught all the girls in the Divine and Aligned program. There's this idea that we have that someone else gets to have it, but not me. And the example that I gave was the gym that I go to, there's a parking garage and then there's a very small parking lot at the front. So there's not a lot of spots up there. And I almost always park in the front lot. I was having a conversation with someone about this and he asked, why don't you just park in the garage? It's very unlikely that you're going to get a spot up there. The way that I look at it is there are spots that are available. Somebody has to park in that spot. Why can't it be me? It's going to go to someone. It's the same thing with your dream life. The possibilities are out there. Look at everyone that's living their dream life. Why can't you have it? Decide that you do get to have it. And I'll be teaching you how to remove that core belief, how to rewire your mind inside of Divine and Aligned. But another tool that I'm going to give you is start listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. He is such a key component of my inner work journey. Brilliant, brilliant man. He teaches you how to become aware of your programming, how to become aware of your thoughts and your beliefs and your subconscious mind and change it. That is the key. It is changing your subconscious mind because that's where all of the limiting beliefs sit. How to choose the right track for yourself despite the uncertainty. I like this question. My answer is decide what your desire is right now. Get connected to what feels good in your body. This is why I believe being in your feminine energy is the key for everything. If you're disconnected from it, you're not going to be able to feel what feels good in your body right now. So get a hold of what your desire is in this moment. You don't have to live in the past. You don't have to live in the future. What feels good for you to do right now? And you do it. Everything else in your path will connect to it later on. So for example, my clothing line, Celeste Wear, it's a women's loungewear brand. I had all of these other ideas for how I wanted my life to go, but I also knew I really want to create a brand for women to feel sexy and to have these beautiful, luxurious robes. It didn't really make sense to do it, and your best ideas usually won't make sense until later on. I connected to my feminine energy and my body, and I thought, I have this desire to make these clothes, to make this brand, let me bring it to life. And I did. And what some of my friends have pointed out is they say, Alexis, it's so amazing how Celeste Wear and YouTube and the Feminine Glow, your coaching business, it all goes together. It's all about empowering women to feel sexy, to feel good in their feminine energy. So what is it that feels good right now? I promise you, it will connect with your purpose and your passion later on. Hi Alexis, I love you. Thank you for all the advice you give us. My life has changed so much because of you. Thank you so much, my girl. So sweet. I love the Instagram messages and the emails and the comments on these videos that you girls leave. Thank you so much for telling me all of the transformations, the way that your life has changed. It is so mind-blowing and I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, Nalani, thank you so much for the super chat, girl. Why do I seem to attract creepy old men? Is my energy possibly vulnerable or makes me appear vulnerable? Yes. So here's what's so interesting. The same thing used to happen to me. And Nalani, what might be the case for you is you have a very strong connection to your light feminine energy, but not as strong of a connection to your dark feminine energy. Because if it's too kind and loving and almost the Disney princess vibe without some more of that savageness in there, old creepy men are going to think that they have a chance with you. And it's because they know that they can just come on in. There's no wall of the boundaries to keep them out. So my advice for you, girl, connect to the dark feminine energy. I have so many videos on how to do this. Something really important for you is also learn about human nature. Learn about psychology so that you can understand these men. That's how you know how to work with them. I have studied Robert Greene's work a lot. He's so brilliant in this area. That might be a great person for you to study. I love your energy. I love you, honey. Thank you, my girls. I love you too. You're gonna have your own talk show set up soon. Don't worry. Nasha, I love the way you think, girl. That is so sweet. That I don't have to worry about the camera battery. Oh, thank you, my girl. What camera do you use to make your videos? Laura, I use the Canon Rebel T6i. I love it. It's so good. Ooh. Oh, I must have gotten a package because my dogs are going crazy. I've been having anxieties about feeling and looking sexy and Christianity. What would be a good approach? Yes. So here's the thing with that. It is 100% okay to desire to feel and to look sexy. God created sexual energy. However, I do believe that the Bible gives women a clear instruction on how to balance that. And how you balance it is with modesty and pouring that energy into the right areas. Your sexual energy as a woman, that is your gift. And it's not just for men. It is even so much more powerful when you can channel it into your creativity. We're going to be talking about how to do this in Divine and Aligned. The most successful business owners and entrepreneurs and female creators that you see, they are using their sexual energy to charge what it is that they are creating. So what I would recommend for you, girl, is make sure that you make sure that you know that it is okay to feel sexy, but where you are pouring that energy is very important. It's not meant to be given out to a lot of people. It's not meant to, it doesn't mean to show off all these parts of your bodies. That's not what it means to be sexy. It means to feel good, to love the skin that you're in, and to be connected to that confident, that passionate, that deeply powerful side of yourself. That is what it means to be sexy. I think that maybe just that word in general is very, very hard, and maybe that's what's causing the anxiety. Because we're taught that sexy means to appeal to men. That's not what it means to be sexy. That's the world's view. God and the inner work community really has this beautiful definition, and it's channeling that energy into something that creates beauty, that creates life. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Sending love. Thank you, my girls. Yeah, how can I make time to build my business when I'm a full-time student and I work? My first business was started when I was still in school full-time and working. And what I really believe is that when there's a will, there's a way. How you use your time and how you use your energy is so valuable. That is going to be key for you to focus on. So the free moments that you have, there's probably some free time where we're spending in certain relationships or on social media a lot of the times. Take those moments where you're using your time and energy there, pour it into your business instead. Pour it into your inner work journey, because that's what's going to create those ideas for your business for you. Okay, my girls, I'm going to take one more question, then I'm going to have to run. I have a coaching call with one of my girls soon. Thank you so much, Queen. Yes, girl, you're welcome. Let's see. Ooh, okay, I love this question, Daniela. Can you give tips on how to actually stick to a healthier routine? I never seem to be able to stay on track even though I want to. This could be a whole video in itself, how to actually stick to healthy habits. So, let me give you an example. So, I used to have such an issue with using food as emotional comfort. So I would binge eat sometimes, I would go to food when I was stressed. How I actually stopped that bad pattern is by realizing I love my body. I love the woman that I am. Am I going to choose to harm her or am I going to choose to nourish her? So you start looking at your body, you start looking at yourself differently. Look at yourself as a garden that is so worthy and so deserving of being nourished. That is how you naturally have discipline. Because remember what we had said earlier, whatever you tell your brain, it has to believe. So if your brain is being taught that you are a garden so worthy of nourishing and pouring into, you become less attracted to those bad habits and to the things that are not serving you. Naturally, I started wanting to eat healthy, go to the gym more, take care of my skin and my mind and my body. And it's because I felt I'm a garden that is so worthy of watering and nourishing. So how you stick to a healthier routine, as I said, inner work, it's usually backwards from what we're taught. You don't start with the habits, you start with the end result. You are already worthy of having that dream life. You are already worthy of becoming your dream woman. When you have that belief, you don't have to struggle or do any of the hard work. That comes naturally. You become more disciplined as a result. So that's my tip for that. Oh, exactly the video I needed. Oh, I love that. My girls, I'm gonna miss you. I probably won't be back until Friday to live stream, but thank you so much for coming here. And please, in the comments of this video, let me know what questions you have for my brother, because I will probably be bringing him on Friday to talk with you girls. I cannot wait to see you again. I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.